Hi guys, just a quick one before the video starts. I'm just letting you know that I'm away for the holidays, so I'm not on my normal setup, so I do apologise for the sound and the kind of camera for this one because I didn't have my normal setup. So thanks guys, hope you all had a lovely holiday, and I'll see you in a bit.
Hello and welcome. I am the Imperishable, and on today's episode, I have the lovely Phil from America who has been tearing it up with Tomb Kings and his list that he's basically used from the start. So it'd be good. We're going to have a chat today, break down his list, why he uses it and not the cult, as he's already told me. He's going to tell me why not to use the cult. So, Phil, welcome, welcome.
Hello, hello, Brian. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good, good, good. So before we get into kind of the list, why Warhammer Fantasy? Why wargaming in general? What's your kind of route down it?
So, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You kind of broke up there. What would you say?
So why Warhammer Fantasy? So why do you play it and why you've gone to the competitive scene?
Oh, that's funny. That was a game. That was an anniversary gone wrong, actually. Um, we went to a games workshop for our anniversary one year, thinking it was a video game store. Um, it was not a
Really?
video game store. Really. We met a lovely salesman named Jason. He sold
Lovely
us the
man.
Isle of Blood set. Um, I hated Skaven immediately. I started playing dwarves in early eighth edition. Um, my wife stopped playing. I did not stop playing, and I've been
Nice.
playing some form of wargaming for the last decade plus 12 years.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with 12 years, give or take.
So you got in because you thought you were going to like a shop to get a DVD kind of thing or a video game.
I I thought it was like a GameStop. I thought it was a literal video game store. I was incredibly wrong.
You're not too far off. You know, there are Warhammer video games. You know, it's not. That's the story. I've never would have thought that's the reason. And then on that same day, you walked into it. The salesman
Oh yeah,
got
no,
you,
literally, complete goddamn accident.
and now look at you. You're tearing up the American scene. So that's your into fantasy. So you didn't like Scarens, you played with dwarves, but with the old worlds, obviously it seems to be Tomb Kings is your list at the moment. So why Tomb Kings? Why not dwarves?
So before Old World, there was Ninth Age for me.
Yeah,
That's when they killed off Fantasy. I played Ninth Age, and in Ninth Age, there's an army of terracotta
yeah,
so terracotta Tomb Kings, and my whole army is jade dragons, jade statues, whole bunch of stuff. And I was
nice.
originally working on that army for Ninth Age, and then Old World came out. And my ass said, "What are the fewest goddamn models I can paint to make a competitive army?" And I look at, and you can see this list. It's like 10 archers, 6 chariots, 2 dragons, I'm like, cool, sub 30 models. We can make
It
this work.
it is a very small army list. Yeah, when we get into it, there's a few big models, but yeah, no rank and file basically.
Big, the big models are so much easier to paint. They really
They
are.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, so,
So yeah, no, it's not some grand scheme. It's just like this was the fastest thing to paint, and I had about half of it painted, and it was my flavor.
so, so you
Um,
went for ease.
I oh, oh yeah, I had the scorpions and chariots done for ninth age. I'm like, oh, 2 necrosphinxes and 2 dragons. We can add that on in a month or two, no problem. Let's get some sponge. Let's get a little line veins for the jade. It's fine. We'll do it. It's great.
So you went for ease is the idea. So you were like, let's just go whatever's easy to get me in. But it seems to have worked you wonders. Basically, that's good. Good luck. Basically, right? You know.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely did a lot of playtesting to get the list I wanted. And again, it's always been Universal Battle and Warhol for me.
Yes.
Universal Battle, for those that don't know, is the prerequisite to Warhol. It was Warhol before Warhol, and it was free.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't have the shiny graphics that Warhol has.
Good
Um,
graphics.
but no, so I mean, I have a group I playtest with, and our group is we never ask, should we do something? It's always, hey, how disgusting can we make this shit?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this seems relatively disgusting to me.
Yeah.
And I was right. It was relatively disgusting.
Well, it's a lot of T6 and kind of multi-saves. So it's those tough things to break at the moment. It's a lot of point sink. But yeah, so it's great to get you on, Phil. So let's get on to your list. Let's have a chat and talk about, as you say, it seems to be something that you've kind of kept from the start. So say the list I brought up, I think was all the way from August time. It seems to be the kind of your list you're sticking with. But let's just make sure I got the right one.
Yeah, this is the most recent version of my list. And I've been playing this since May. This has been the list since roughly June.
So this has been a good 5-6 months then, yeah.
There was a prerequisite version of this, which is a Terror Bomb style list. That was when I was doing Necromancy, same basic list. It was High Priest, Tomb King, but instead of Illusion, it was Necromancy.
Yeah.
And if you've ever heard of this player, lovely Luna Lovegood.
Yeah.
In May, whooped my ass with the Necromancy version. I got bent over. I got spanked. It was great. I said, oh, please more. But the Necromancy version could not deal with the Green Knight.
Yeah.
At all. No magic. I wasn't expecting the Green Knight to be as good as he was. That was back in May when the game was still newish.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, he's a legit problem.
Yeah.
Give me a serpent staff. Give me a lore familiar. Give me ways to deal with this son of a bitch.
Yeah, because it's just because he's ethereal, and like I'd say I play a cult list, and if I don't, when I was doing necromancy as well, if I didn't roll, let's say what's the sort of unquiet spirits, my way of getting rid of him was a lucky casket where you just got leadership 8 or 9. It won't do it. So yeah, you need something to kind of deal with it. And I say when we get into your list now, yeah, I think that change to illusion is quite strong.
Oh God, yes. And I mean, after that game, me and Luna became pretty good friends. Actually, we talk a lot. We constantly go back and forth. She's number 1 in the American rankings. I'm number 2 in the American rankings. We both bounce in the worldwide rankings between 1 and 2. So it's like we're constantly just talking. Yeah, the illusion list she hates tremendously. She's like, I don't like. Oh, she hates it. She's like, I don't like that you can make things paperweights with Mirage. I don't like the fact that my Green Knight doesn't. My Green Knight's stalker, the Serpent Staff just murders your Green Knight.
Yeah.
We've played a bunch since then. I've won 1 game because she got very unlucky. She needed a 5 on a charge and she failed.
Ooh.
And well, that wouldn't have been the problem if she didn't fail and failed directly in between the 2 dragons.
Okay. Yes.
She's like, I failed, and there's 1 dragon on one side, 1 dragon on another, and she's like, oh, this is bad. I'm like, yep.
Seems
okay
it.
with it. But every other time it's been a small draw in her favor. Usually she'll win like 11-9.
Yeah.
Or it'll be like a draw, but she's up like 100 points, and I'm like, whatever. I'll play it to a draw.
Yeah, versus someone of that caliber, that's fantastic. Like most people get 20 and 0 kind of thing.
Luna is the best opponent I've ever played, and at the end of the game, both of us are banging our head with a fucking headache, just going, we sat here for 2 hours, nothing got fucking done.
What was the point, kind of thing?
Oh, it's literally just us staring, going, I passed my turn. I passed my turn.
It's what happens though, yeah.
I charge. I countercharge. Cool, we both took off 200 points. Great job. Okay, cool.
Lovely. So this is great. So you've been playing this versus some obviously top opponents for the top in the world. So let's break down the list then. So you've got 2 dragons to start off with. One is your High Priest, who's, as we've already mentioned, has got Serpent Staff, Warding Splint, Lore Familiar, Potion of Speed. That's quite interesting. I'm guessing to get that initiative up when you really need it, when you don't charge.
Oh, you give me so much credit. I forget that thing's there. I had 10 points in the list.
Oh, okay, great. Okay.
It has come in handy every so often, but most
When
of the
you
time,
remember.
just like, here's 10 points, go.
Yeah.
I don't know what to give anything else.
Fairs. And then a Tomb King, which I think is a semi-standard build, obviously on another dragon, Armor of Ages for the reroll, Talisman of Protection to give the 5-up, wards, Potion of Toughness, once again I'm guessing just to make sure versus those big hitters, you can get to, I think you can get to T9 with it. Is it plus D3 or is it just plus 1 with the potion?
Plus D3. The Potion of Toughness is there to break things.
Yeah. And then a great weapon. So this is where I would deviate. I usually, because I always think, oh, I've got to get some sort of another magic attack kind of thing. I've gone for like the Biting Blades to get me Strength 5 -2 with that magical attack. He's shaking his head. I like this.
I'm absolutely shaking my head. Because the Tomb King needs to fight. The Tomb King's there to fight monsters. He's there to fight other characters. Strength 5 doesn't cut it.
No.
Most of the time. And again, Green Knight, honestly, he'll beat the Green Knight most of the time. Green Knight's got 4 Strength 6 attacks.
Rerolling, has to.
If you buff the weapon skill, the odds the Green Knight does anything to you is negligible. He'll lose most of the time and just give ground an inch.
Yeah. So you're not afraid of the Green Knight with the kind of the Tomb King.
Oh, God.
If he comes,
that Tomb King fears almost nothing.
Nice.
Almost.
So you play with it quite aggressively then, I'm guessing.
Aggressive is a word that people use to describe my play style. I'm flattered that they think that because I think it's way worse than aggressive.
Nice. So those are 2 characters, 2 kind of beat sticks, as you say. The Illusion dragon I've been playing with recently, with say the Serpent Staff is one of the best weapons in our little thing. For 20 points, you get to Strength 5 -2. It's phenomenal. It's amazing.
It's for 20 points. It's like, oh my god, please give it to me, baby.
So a strong kind of characters. Now onto the core. I'm going to skip over one thing because I want to talk about it. So you've got 10 skeleton archers. Obviously, you need 10 of something. So you've gone for a bit of shooting. You have a big chariot blob with the icon of Sacred Eye. So it gives you a weapon skill 4 with them because they start weapon skill 3. So it helps us versus those other chap killers. Spectral Stalkers. Okay, I've wrote these off at the start to get other thing because I'm like, they just seem bad. They're a lot of points. They've got that one good shooting thing. Why do you have them? Because I know Fred from Germany ran like 9 of them at WTC. So I want to know these things. Why these snakes?
So, fun fact. So Frederick ran them. Do you know who was on Frederick's team for the team tournament?
Unfortunately, not. I've only seen his killer list basically.
So, fun fact. Remember how I said I'm friends with Luna?
Yeah.
So, guess who was Frederick's teammate?
Luna, I'm guessing now.
There's a very good reason Frederick had most of my loadout.
Yeah.
Luna's like, take this, just do it. The Stalkers were his own little twist on the list. He didn't like the chariots. Stalkers are there because they have ambush.
Yeah.
And just by having ambush, they control the battlefield.
Yeah.
Because legitimately, they don't give you a target to charge.
Yeah. What do you mean by that then? What do you mean they don't give you the target to charge?
So the thing, and we'll probably talk about this more when I get into this. The thing with this list is you are controlling the battlefield through movement.
Yeah.
The whole point of this is the Stalkers don't appear until I want them to, or they appear somewhere where you can't get them.
Okay. All right.
And realistically, if they're not on the board, you can't charge them. So you've got to fight a dragon, a necorsphinx, or a blob of chariots.
Yeah, that's quite a lot to try and deal with. Yeah.
I mean, the chariots, don't get me wrong, the chariots are ass, but the chariots are so mobile. They're so stupid.
With the reserve move 8, yeah, they can move quite fast.
I've had people try and pin them. They just put their dragon right in front of them. Like, I'm going to pin you with this dragon. I'm like, no, you're not. Gone. Just,
yeah.
They could yeet themselves out of the way. I'm like, and now you see nothing. And now we can terrorize the rest of the board.
Yeah. I'd say, like, I like the idea of chariots that once they do eventually hit, they're not too bad. But I just say they're very... We, as a slow moving, can't march, all this. We seem to move quite fast for an army that can't do certain things. So it's great, as you say, they move 8, they've got that reserve move. As you say, they are very maneuverable when you need them to be.
Yeah. I played recently online. Lovely gentleman named Bill is Lord Tremendous. And he's described my list as undead with afterburners, and I'm like, I don't hate that description because it's legitimately how I play.
That's amazing. So that's your core. Well, it's good to understand that spiritual core. So you don't use them more as an attacking piece. It's more, as you say, a controlling piece potentially.
You asked about the potion of toughness, right?
Yeah.
The chariots are why the potion of toughness is there.
Why? What?
So, if I'm fighting a chaos dragon, a high elf dragon, something else, right?
Yeah.
My dragon can beat it or outlast it, right?
Yes.
Potion of toughness, go toughness, let's say 8, rerolling the wounds. You're not wounding my dragon.
Yeah.
But I can't break you. Because I'm only using strength 9. Now, if I throw 9 plus, let's say, 18 unit strength, I'm breaking you.
Yes.
And usually the static plus a couple wounds I do back, I'm up by 3 or 4. You fail, I've got chariots and a dragon to chase you.
Yes. Okay. So the whole idea is that potion of toughness is there to make you survivable, and then you hit them in the flank or whatever with your scarce and chariots. You get the combat res. You push them back.
No, I
Ah.
don't. I break them. Because
Yes.
again, they're like, I failed. I'm like, great. I'm like, I fall. No, you don't fall back in good order. You have 9. I have 9 plus 18.
Yes, you double out. Yes, you do absolutely ruin them, and then obviously you chase down their big thing. So it's a great anti-dragon, anti-big thing piece.
That was legitimately the reason they're in there, and it's why I prefer the chariots mostly over the stalkers. Stalkers, they can fail and they can sometimes take a little bit longer to get in.
Yes.
Stalkers, especially the way Frederick played them. I've not played a unit of 9. I could. I might give it a shot, but I don't think I'd like it.
Yeah.
Because the stalkers have to come in on a board edge. A unit of 9 of them, you can't realistically summon from the high priest because you have to be fully within.
Yeah, that's really hard to do. I've been trying to do with 5 snakes. Yeah.
I can't imagine you doing it. I can imagine coming on a board edge and just like 9 wide eating yourself away.
Yeah.
But by the time you get them into position, it doesn't work as well as I would imagine with my list.
Because they don't have the swift. They don't have the reserve move. So when they come in, they're only going that 7 inches. But say with the chariots, you can get to a position where you can set up and then hit from the flank. Very nice.
And my chariots definitely usually have a better threat range, and you can get into position more easily. I will say, the stand and shoot with a freaking unit of 9 stalkers is fucking horrifying. Like that's scary. But I mean, there are some armors like stand and shoot my initiative 7 elf. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it doesn't do anything really, does it? Yeah. So
I definitely think the idea of more stalkers is not a bad thing, but I think 3 is usually good enough for my purposes, and the chariots are honestly what people usually sleep on for me. They're like, oh, they don't hit hard. I'm like, I don't have them here to hit hard. They're here for combat res. They go in with a necrosphinx. They go in with a dragon. They're just there to say, we have 18 combat res. Please die.
That's such a great way to think. Like I say, there's a few things, because I play more the magic way, so I don't usually get into big combats. Well, I try not to. I try to play around. But that's so interesting that, yes, because I would see most opponents would be like, okay, that's not the threat. The threat is get rid of the necrosphinx, try and get rid of these dragons. But if they also go in, they can ruin a game.
I had someone who was super ballsy. He's like, I'm not afraid of you. He parked his thing right in front of my dragon and chariot, and I'm just like, dude, you sure you want to do that? He's like, yeah, I'm not afraid. I'm like, you should be. You should be very afraid. And he's like, no. And I'm like, all right, cool. Chug the potion. He's like, I have an ogre blade. You're wounding me on 6s. Go nuts. And he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna fall back. No, you're breaking. What do you mean I'm breaking? You're screwed. You're just screwed. And he's
it's
like,
just magical.
And the second, and at first it was my friend Andrew. He's one of the better warrior players in the U.S. And he's like, oh shit. And he has ever since been like, I'm going to respect the fuck out this dragon now. And I'm like, good plan.
Yeah. So then to round off your list, obviously, you've got 2 Tomb Scorpions with ambushers and then 2 necorsphinx. Obviously, I love necorsphinx. They're, for me, one of the best monsters in the game. The same with the Tomb Kings, the Tomb Scorpions. They're just
for 200 points, they're a steal. I will say this, I don't think necorsphinxes are broken, but I absolutely think they are undercosted. Is the big issue.
It's the idea that they're a T6 body, great, 6 wounds, 5 up regen is massive. Yes, they've only got 5 up save, but most other like big monsters don't have good saves anyway. But 5 up regen is massive. We can res them. I'd say they've got so many attacks. They've got 6 normal attacks, 5 plus the Captain Strike. They get the D3 plus 2 stomps. They're fly 9. They're just fantastic to play with, and I've loved playing with them at the moment. So it's nice to see 2 in this type of kind of fresh aggro list.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
they're phenomenal.
Yeah. So that's the list. I'd say it's 2 big dragons, 2 necorsphinx, 2 popping out Tomb Scorpions, and then it seems your core is very much there to help out and win the combat race. So you've already given us your rough play style. So let's say in a typical game versus, let's say, Warriors of Chaos kind of thing. Let's say you're playing Slutsky. What would be rough your game plan, do you think, in that kind of game?
The biggest thing is this list you can't zone. Like, most people have a single flying monster or a single big gribbly, which is fine. What are you going to stop? The necorsphinxes, the dragon, the other dragon, you can't with one model stop all of them.
Yeah. So it's that overloading.
Exactly. It's basically, I usually play this list where the sphinxes usually go on one flank, the big Tomb King goes on another. The bone dragon, the wizard, usually sticks with the sphinxes for the start of the game. Because, fun fact, reserve move with lumbering is amazing.
Yes.
It's like crack cocaine. And people consistently underestimate it. And I played I played a mortuary cult list at one of the tournaments. It was the Blood Bowl. It was a tournament I went to in August in Canada. And the lovely gentleman completely did not he did not understand, but the reserve move and the lumbering gave my Tomb King dragon enough to get out of his one of his dragon's necromancy arcs. So I'm sitting there, I'm just like, I'm gonna cast the Spirit Leech on your dragon. I'm like, that's great, I'm not in your arc. And he's like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, no, you don't like. And now you have to deal with this lovely little sausage. And he's like, I don't want to deal with him. I'm like, I don't blame you. No one wants to deal with this dragon.
Yeah, I bet. Ah.
So yeah, the reserve move itself does a lot. Specifically the ambushing. The ambushing does amazing because you've got 5 things from the front: the chariots, the dragons, and the necorsphinx. And then you have, if I get even 2 of them on, you've got something in your ass that you don't want there. No one's like, oh, scorpions, they're behind me now. Great. And stalkers. Oh, so I'm just surrounded by bad.
Yes.
Yeah, that checks out. Also, the ambushers are wonderful for TMP because the ambushers just come on and you're like, you've got to stay 6 inches away from my units, and you make a lovely, lovely little box where that lovely unit of TMP just can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then it's so satisfying. You're like, okay, take 2 sphinxes, 2 dragons, and some chariots, and I don't
chuck
care.
everything in at once. Yeah.
Oh, and then they're just like, it's like, well, I have the goblins. I have fanatics. I'm like, I have a Tomb King. You're not gonna wound me with your fanatics.
No, that'd be a waste. Yeah.
Nothing about this is going to hurt me. I have 1 attack with Walloping Wanda. I'm like, that's great. My Tomb King is going to eat your BSB. We're going to give ground, and then we're going to do it again. And by the time you kill my Tomb King, everyone else is in there, your flank, and you're still dead.
Yeah. So your type of kind of deployment is one side you've got your Tomb King, the other side you've got your necrosphinxes and your um
It's actually not,
priest.
believe it or not. My deployment is literally very central. One side of the center is the necrosphinx and the priest. One side's the Tomb King, and then we scatter. We just all go in different directions because you
Yeah.
can't zone. Well, once we start feigning it, you can't zone everything.
No, you can't deal with 4 flying monsters that I would say most of them will have reserve move. You'll lumber another, you go 9, you
Oh,
lumber, you go another 9, lumber.
and the list has 5 drops. The odds of someone getting the +1 over me is so small.
Yeah, so this low droppage is really cool because let's say 3 of your units have ambush, so they don't affect it. I'm guessing your skeleton archers you don't really play with. They're just there because you have to.
They sit on a hill, they take out their pom poms, and they yell, "Go team, go!" And that's all they do. The only reason they have a banner is because one time my friend charged my dragon with his wood elf dragon, and I flank charged him with the skeleton archers, and they won me the combat,
Because they're
and they
the
ran
stand
me
there.
down, and I will never. I'm like, that's the only reason they have a banner to this day. Is I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
we have a red banner, and he's like, I hate you. I'm like, I will never not take this banner just for the sole fact the skeleton archers ran you down. It's like, I fucking hate you. I'm like, I know.
Because this is the thing I was thinking, it's like, well, because you're not doing the big block, you're not really looking for combat rares. If somebody hits them, they'd probably kill them. So I'm like, it's a big 50 points that you could give up for the standard bearer if they die in combat. But as you say, yours is more of a novelty that it won you versus an elf dragon and ran it down.
It
So
literally, yeah, people are like, what tactics does he have? I'm like, I don't have tactics. This one time my friend did something stupid and I benefited off of it. I will never not take it because of that.
because the one time you do need it, you won't have it, kind of thing. If you take it off, it'll come out every game.
I mean, yeah, it would be much smarter to take off that banner, put another archer in there, and just call it a day. But I mean, no, it's just it's there for the sole fact. It's just nope. It did something cool once, stays.
Yeah. So we had a chat, just a quick one before this, because I said I'm more of a Mortuary Cult list player. If you look at the channel, why have you stuck with the Grand Army and not gone what most people would see as the more competitive Mortuary Cult? Why aren't you a Mortuary Cult fan and rather than this kind of pressure list with these 4 fast movers?
So it goes into a lot more of the philosophy of list building than anything else. It's gimmick versus strategy.
Yeah.
Mortuary Cult, and this is a hot take. Mortuary Cult players, I say this to you because it's fun to just rile up the comments. Mortuary Cult is a gimmick list. That's it. You are ceding a lot of your control in a game because you're relying either on poison shots or caskets. And if your opponent has an out to the poison shots and caskets, you lose. You have TMP. If you fail the TMP, you lose. If you have a bad round of shooting, you lose. The amount of things for a good player, right, to look at a Mortuary Cult list and go, I've looked at it, I'm like, these are the steps that need to happen for me to win in a Mortuary Cult list.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so these are all the points where something can go wrong. And for me, I'm just like, that's too many points where things can go wrong.
Yeah.
Whether it's casting the magic, whether it's the shooting, whether it's just take your pick, right? At that point, it's just like, yeah, too much of this can go wrong. Why would I rely on this? And the other thing too is the game is derived in the movement phase. It really is.
Yeah.
If you
100%.
can control the movement phase, you win the game. Just that's all there is to it. Mortuary Cult can't control the movement phase. It influences the movement phase. You can kind of set things up, and against slower armies or armies that, to be fair, aren't undead with afterburners, for example.
Yeah.
But against slower armies or armies with less threat pieces, you can be like, oh yeah, we can influence where you go, and that's 100% true. But against fast armies, Bretts, Tomb Kings, Empire Knights, against some things that are just going, you have no answer. we're just there. And it's just we're here. You're not going to like it. And God forbid they have cannons involved, because then your illusion dragon's just like, please, sir, not the face. Not the no, in the face. Yeah, my bad. And that's the thing. Mortuary cults, and again, mortuary cults are a perfectly good army. I've lost to a couple mortuary cults. I mean, it happens. My most recent was in SBOT 2. I was against my friend Jelly. Beat me. I played like ass, and I absolutely deserved that loss. I mean, I am not a... but yeah, no, like, they definitely can do well. But I don't... Out of the mortuary cult lists I've played, I've lost to, I think, 1 or 2. And I've played probably about 20 plus games against mortuary cults for whatever different reasons.
Okay. So you think this idea that you're able to, as you say, shroud that TMP kind of teleporting Archer Blob with your 4 things, and then when they can't get away, you just hit them with everything, is enough to break it, basically.
But here, and it's not just that, though. I mean, think about it. The difference is, too, the ability to move in the movement phase. Taking out TMP, right? Let's say you get the TMP off.
Yeah.
Great. You do. You have caskets that can't move, so I can kill them. You have Ushapti that can't move. I can kill them. You have probably 1 or 2 other things, scorpions that can't move very fast. They're dead. So, in theory, right? You hide your TMP, you fly your dragon away, you take your necorsphinx and shove it in the corner. I'm up 500 points based on the Ushapti, the caskets alone. And I can do the same thing. I can just be like, all right, everyone, we're leaving. Good job. We're going to take our 500 points and run the fuck away because we don't need to do anything more.
All right. Yeah. So it's that kind of, you get the points you can, then you just leave it because they can't deal with your dragons, etc. Especially because we can heal them up.
Realistically, Bretonnians are honestly, normal Bretonnians are honestly probably one of my worst matchups with this match. And I rarely lose to them for 2 reasons. One, they're not Luna. If you play Luna, you're like, you're not scary. You're not Luna Lovegood.
Yeah.
You're not Luna Lovegood. I've played True Terror. Your bird horsies don't scare me at all. But the other thing, too, is people with Bretonnians get greedy. They're, like, if in a perfect matchup, right? Bretonnian players kill my chariots, and then kill the archers, kill some scorpions, and run away.
Yeah, they just leave your big things alone, kind of thing.
They're just like, we're going to fly away to victory. We don't want any part. But instead, everyone's like, my Super Duke can fight your dragon. I'm like, sure he can. Is he on a hippogriff? Oh, he's on a peg? Oh, he's stompable? Oh, yeah, he'll be fine. He is, in fact, never fine. He is almost always dust. It's the same thing with the peg knights and the necorsphinx. It's like we're gonna beat your necorsphinx.
So no, you're not. Yeah,
you're gonna beat them for a round, and then this necorsphinx is going to eat your freaking lunch money until you're very dead.
When they drop down and lose their lances, those necorsphinxes can, because they're wounding them on 6s, and it's just like you're not going to get through the number of wounds that you need to. So if you can survive that 1 round, I'd say they should probably get 3 or 4 in max, maybe. I think it's 3 max.
They'll get 3 in max. Without a character, they can't survive. And even then, it's got to be a Duke.
Yeah.
I played a game where a Baron with the Frontier Axe came in. He bounced. That Necrosphinx was amazing because he killed 2 pegs, a Baron, and stomped another one to death. It was real bad. My brother's like, this is bullshit. I'm like, it is. I'm not going to argue about it, but it's complete bullshit. You're right.
You accept that it is. That's the key thing. You don't lie and be like,
your Baron and 3 pegs should absolutely be alive. They're not. We're going to win combat, and we're going to run you down now. He was understandably salty about that, and I'm like, you have every right to be. But I don't care. I hate the bird horsies.
It's a dice game, and you had to say it. I think everyone hates the 360 charging peg knights who move 10, can charge 19. It's just great fun.
So I've also been experimenting with Bretonnian lists because, to be fair, I've played this list for a year. Like this list legitimately, if Malign Musings is anything to believe, it's got me #1 spot in the world at the moment. Like, I'm like, and honestly, I love this list. But I'm like, okay, I've taken this list literally as far as it can go.
You got to try
Like,
something new now, don't you?
what's up?
That's what I'm saying. You've got to try something new now. You've
Yeah,
won it all. You've done it all with this. Now let's see if you can
yeah.
replicate it. It's not just
yeah,
a list kind of thing.
Oh yeah, and the thing for me too is half my fun in the hobby is I design my own models. I 3D design my own models.
That's
I paint
amazing.
my own. So for me, I've been stuck for a while playing the Tomb Kings. I'm like, okay, I'm bored. I need a new project. And I read that Dragon Age Veilguard, and I'm like, I could see myself doing a whole army of Grey Wardens. Yeah, I can definitely see a whole army of Grey. So I've been designing Grey Wardens, and I'm like, oh, Griffins are awesome. Peg Knight Griffins, easy.
There we
thing.
go. Sorted.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun designing that. But I mean, this list is still, and the thing too is like I feel I legitimately at this point feel bad taking this list to 1 days because
It's a bit mean, isn't it? Kind of thing.
I mean, it for one, like I know a lot of the because again, I am blessed in an area where there are a crap ton of 1 days, like all over
Yeah.
the place. But like not everyone is super competitive, and every so often it's just like I'm here to test out a list, and I'm like, I have one list at the moment painted. It is unfair. You do not know who I am. You do not know my skill level, and you have no clue what's about to happen. And
I'm
it's
sorry.
just, oh, I'm, we're like, because I played a 1 day a week or two ago, and I went there, and my first round opponent was like, I was looking to place a list like this, and we talked through it. It was great. My other two opponents were just like, what happened? I don't this is bullshit. I'm like, it's not bullshit, but you do need very specific things to deal with this level of nonsense.
Yeah.
And not everyone brings this other thing. And the thing is, like, this list doesn't have particularly bad matchups.
No.
It does have matchups where it is hard for me. Poison shooting, specifically avoidance. Like wood elves are. I hate playing wood elves for so many different reasons. One, they never finish a movement phase that doesn't take an hour. But two, wood elves are very avoidance poison shooting, and this list, as we've talked about, is very compact, very small. A lot of wounds that can get worn down.
Yeah.
So I will tend to lose to wood elves in a small way. I'll hide. I'll get some points where I can. But most of the time for wood elves, it's just a small loss. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Small loss. Go earn it back.
It's that matchup that is how you describe it. It probably seems like the worst. So you take a small loss kind of thing. If you thought of it, let's say a team's kind of idea, because that seems to be kind of being talked about a bit with WTC, ETC kind of thing. Yeah. So pushing with teams, if you got 11-9 loss versus them, you'll probably seem happy. But obviously, you'll probably want to go into something that you can probably get a 20-0 versus. But yeah,
I am looking forward to some of those team events because I know me, Luna, and Adam have all been talking. We're just like, we should go to one of the team events in Europe, and all three of us should just be on a team. And I'm like, well, that's not very fair. Let's totally do it.
I'm scared about that. Yeah.
It's like Luna, Adam, Phil. We'll fill in 2 spots with some other people we know. Oh, it'll be great. And I'm just like, and then we're just like, but aren't we like 3 of the? Yes, we are. We're going to make people very upset. We should totally do it.
But you say that, but that's the whole point. Like, for anyone to get better, they need to play these better players and get smacked 20-0 with their list. I think they think unstoppable, and it's a learning game. So, as you say, it'll be interesting to see when, as you say, the proper kind of world tournament scene with international teams get sorted. To see the caliber of who's playing who. Like, can you deal with some of the English players, kind of thing? How would you deal with it in the different types of metas, kind of things? It'd be really interesting to see when this all kind of sorts out.
I mean, it would. I mean, the whole thing, though, is the difference between team events and single events, right? I personally think single events are a better test of skill than team. Because team events, you can arrange matchups.
Yes.
Right? So, realistically, if I'm like, Luna, I don't want to fight this. As long as I don't fight this, I can guarantee points. She'll be like, great, you're not fighting this. Go fight any of the other 4 things, and you'll get you'll get a bunch of points. Singles, you can't argue. It's just like you're fighting who has the most points, and may God have mercy on your soul because you can't get out of it.
Yeah, you could play 5 widows in a row.
Oh God, Nope. Thank God. Nope. No. Look, even Wood Elf players don't like playing Wood Elf players. Wood Elf
No one
players don't like
does.
themselves. Let's be real here. I move. I'm like, great. Let me just get my novel done while you're taking hour and a half on the moon phase. Great. Yep. Just let me know when it's my turn. It's great. Oh, we're into the we're into the shooting phase now. Great. Another 3 hours. Great. Lovely. Oh God, yeah. But no. But that's the thing though. It's just it's and it's also why me and Luna became friends, because every tournament we're in the same general area. So every tournament, round 4 and 5.
It's you too.
Hey, Luna. So our usual? Yep, our usual. Okay, great. Good talk. Yep, good to see you again. Yep. And it's always yeah, every time we're in the same tournament and we both last at the time, it's just like, so yeah, we're playing each other round 4 or 5. Round 4 or 5. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like I personally like singles events usually offer a better experience
Yeah.
for like actual lists. They're the ones where I'm like, oh, this is where you get to test your list. This is where you get to see which lists are actually doing the best. I think team tournaments are way more fun. I love team tournaments.
Yeah. It's
I
nice
think
to screw your mates
they
and all
are
that.
absolutely some of the best. Oh God, just the because like when there's a local team tournament, I'll just call some of my we'll see if I can get some of my buddies, and we're just like sitting there like, so we're bringing the filthiest, disgustingest things we can bring, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, no, there's no mercy. There's no mercy in this dojo. We're bringing bullshit. And it's just so nice to just. I have a friend, is James. If you're ever familiar with Chai Hammer videos, the man is a savant with pairings. I don't know how he does it. He's like, I'll get us what we want, and every time he's like, I got us exactly what we wanted, and I'm like,
That's key. That's really
How
key in teams. Yeah.
I know. I'm like, James, how did you somehow get me the one matchup where they should never be playing me? He's like, don't worry about it. I'm like, did you wing? Did you offer them sexual favors? Like, how did you do this? And it was so much fun. There haven't been a huge amount of team tourneys in America, sadly.
I think it's the same in England now. Yeah. It seems to be slowly picking up now.
Yeah, a couple people have reached out to me about ETC having 9th age this year, and I think that's really going to start jumpstarting a couple team tournament things.
Yeah, because
ETC,
yeah, because
so
I've been
that always jumpstarts.
Sorry, I'll let you carry on there.
No, that's literally what I said. I'm just talking.
Yeah, because I'm kind of in the Welsh setup with Ollie, the person who put me in contact with you, and he's like, we're trying to get it there, and we're loving the idea of this 8-man team tournament. It's just when they're currently looking at dealing with the chairmans of each country and trying to properly get the ball rolling. So that's what Fred's been on at the moment. So it's great to see, because that'd be a great thing.
Oh God, yeah. See, the one thing I dislike about ETC is the 8-man teams, because it's so hard. And again, I'm speaking from as an American perspective. It's so hard for America to have one 8-man team, because
I bet.
Our country is the size of Europe, and a lot of them don't even know about ETC. But so it's not the worst thing in the world. But 8-man team tourneys are they are fun. But for me, I'm just like, a 5-man team tourney sounds. I think 5 is the perfect number for it, but that's my own personal. 8-man teams are fun. 5-man teams where I'm just like, no, that's probably better. But I am looking forward to the WTC stuff. I think it's also happening over the summer.
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
So there's ETC with 9th age, and that's set in July or August. But then they're trying to sort out the WTC with the old world. So that's what they've suggested they might chuck it on at the same time at the ETC. But I know a few of our members are playing in that, so they won't be able to. So hopefully it'll get changed and give enough notice. So they might do it in Germany again, because it's more central.
That's fine. But yeah, no. But no, team tournaments are always a blast. And for anyone that's in America listening to this, I firmly recommend get your ass some team tournaments, please. So I would love to play in some.
Well, that's the thing. You talk about it. So like in the UK, like it's only ever been kind of singles. I mean, there's been one other kind of biggish team tournament in the UK, but now there's like 2 or 3 or 4. Like we've got a team going up to one. There's TSN are running one, and then they're running another one in summer. So it seems to now be like, okay, everyone's played enough. Everyone knows the rules. Now they start making
Oh,
some teams and making it a bit more proper rather than just a big singles tournament.
You say everyone's played enough and everyone knows the rules. Sir, do you know how many people I've played that have no concept of the rules?
You know,
Like, like, do you know how annoyed people get when I have to explain, no, you have to take more than 1 terror check a turn. That doesn't seem fair. I'm like, it's not a panic check, it's a leadership check. You have to take 4. If I'm charging this unit with 4 terror causers, you're taking 4 terror checks and you're gonna be sad about it.
really, I swear it's only one per thing, because it's the same with the fear. They only have to take 1 fear test a turn. I thought it's the same with
No,
terror.
terror is not limited by that. Terror is specifically a leadership test, not a panic check. You can take 1 panic check a turn. Terror is not a panic check. Terror is its own special. So, Brian, thank you for proving my point.
Well, no, it's just because I'm just pretty sure in the rules it's the same with fear. Like you can only take 1 fear test a turn, so I just presumed it was the same because fear is not a panic test. I'll have to look that up then. Because then if you're
People got
saying the
very
mob,
upset. That's why my version 1 list of Necromancy was horrifying, because I'd throw Spirit Leech, I'd throw a Vortex, I'm like, all right, -3, great.
and you chuck in
4
4
terror checks,
terrors,
-3,
yeah.
and you're gonna fail one of them. I think I played a dwarf opponent who, my friend John, who was a dwarf opponent, he's like, so I have my king, a whole unit of hammers. I'm like, take 4 terror checks. Don't roll an 8 once. And he rolled an 8 the second time. He's like, you're such a whore. And I'm like, yes. Now run away. He ran 3 inches. I'm like, I cannot fail to catch you. And he's like, he looked at me and said, the amount of hatred I have for you. I'm like, I'm aware. I'm keenly aware. We don't care.
Nice. That must be so heartbreaking. Because watching your opponent fail a terror test is just so great. It's like, oh cool, that 400-point unit that you stacked up. Oh, you rolled a 9. Ah, see you later, mate. I've caught you.
It's such a shame. You're off the board now. Great. Or for me, it's like, I like to, especially I'll just charge. It's awful because I'll charge a scorpion in the rear and something in the front. And like, all right, you're running away from the dragon and you're 2 whole inches in front of the scorpion now. Oh, that's such a shame. He's gonna murder you. You got away from the dragon, the scorpion behind you. He's gonna murder you.
Yeah, he's 1 little inch away. Yeah, it's lovely.
No, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, and again, I think people have a lot better understanding of rules. I will be honest. A lot of the things I see when I play games, and I was talking, and I've talked with a couple people about this, a couple people that I play more recently. We're all just like, for people like us, like we're like, when we go to a tournament, like everyone's like, oh, we usually learn new things. For us, we're like, we've all been playing roughly the same lists. We know how this goes. We are at a point where just like we don't grow anymore at tournaments, except for maybe 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
Like this list here, I recently took to Du Bois in November. It was the most recent 2-day GT that I did well with.
Yeah.
And 3 out of the first 3 games, I did feel slightly like a bully. But it had to be done. One of them was a bird horsey player, so even though I felt like a bully, it must have been done.
It must have been.
Stomp on all the bird horses. All bird horses are dead. We hate them unless I'm playing them. We hate them unless I'm playing them. But my game 4 was the game where I actually played someone who knew what they were doing, and it was great. I learned a bit. I was very thankful. He was an exile player, and his Green Knight didn't come on until turn 5.
Oh,
such a sweet
opponent. 5.
Oh,
Jesus.
And then the one that came on, he charged. He had a brick of like static 7, and he's like, "I can try and kill your dragon," because he killed my wizard way earlier. But I don't. My thing is, I don't. That's the other thing too. I don't care about my wizard dying. I have 18-inch range of leadership 10, so it's like crumble check. I'm fine. We don't care.
It's more the regen. I find it's the big thing. Losing the regen is massive.
But he whiffed. He whiffed with the Green Knight. Armor of Ages saved me. I fell back 2 inches, then I full sended because it was a unit of peasants. So we sent stalkers in the rear, so he didn't get any rank bonuses. We sent a scorpion in, and he's sitting there. He's just like, I needed that to go better. I'm like, I'm aware it did not. So unfortunately for you, we're going to kill things. It's the only game I've ever seen the Green Knight stay dead because he rolled 2 on the 4-up, and he's just like, I'm just staying dead on turn 6. I'm like, oh my god, it's beautiful. The
I've never
bastard
seen that.
stayed dead.
Yeah, I've never
I've
seen
never
it.
seen that either. I hate the Green Knight. The Green Knight is the one character, like, you are the only special character that is so imbalanced that is just miserable. But no,
Yeah.
a lot of that is specifically though. I play this list and I get 1 or 2 games where I'm just like, oh, I've learned something new. Someone has tactics I haven't seen before. But because my 5th game was against the Vampire Scream list, and great guy, but realistically speaking, my friend Rob played the double Terrorgeist, double Mortis list for ages, and at that point I played that list like 20 times. I have muscle memory. I'm just like, this is how this is gonna go. And
Yeah.
he's looking at me, he's just like, how are you able? Like, you're not even looking at your models. I don't need to. This is all memory. I know exactly your ranges. I know exactly what's gonna happen. I have real bad news. When you charge a unit of skeletons with 4 monsters, they're all dead. We don't care.
Yeah, you just absolutely ruin it. All the stomps and everything. It's just
Oh, it's atrocious.
no.
But that's the whole thing with it, though. It's just, it's one of those things where, like, I think, and that's the thing I'll recommend anyone is, like, if you're gonna make a list, make it and stick with it,
Yeah.
because that's how you like, you can tweak small things. Luna makes smaller lists, but she tweaks smaller things.
Yeah.
A lot of this is just take your list, tweak it once or twice, and stick with it, because that's how you're going to learn it. And
Yeah.
that's where you're going to know what you have to do in certain matchups.
Yeah. It's just that, as you say, once you nail that list, someone told me I think the max you should change is like 10% of your changes should be 10% at a time. So if you're ever going to change something, it's not a drastic, all right, I'm going to get rid of a dragon and put in something else. It's the small changes. As you said, you change from necromancy to illusion. That would be classed as that one little change.
There was one GW writer, I can't remember which one it was. It was like, every time I play a 2,000 point army, it's the same army, and that's what I'm stuck with because I'll learn it eventually. I'm either going to get good with it or I'm going to lose a lot with it. I'm like, that's a really respectable mindset to have. And I've basically had that mindset since 8th edition. I'm like, I'm going to play one list. And even in 9th age, I played like 1 or 2 lists. I'm like, this is my army. We're going to stick with it. And if we don't stick with it, we're going to die.
Yeah. But no, it's just a testimony. As I say, if we look at your world rankings, you're second in America, I think, at the moment from that old world rankings. I think you're the top Tomb Kings player, I think, potentially in the world at the moment. So it just shows that this caliber that you've been playing with this one list since June, and it has done you so well. And it's just
you give me far too much credit. I play with a big bunch of 4 stompy monsters, and I know how to abuse them. That's it.
Abuse the 4 big and dumb things and just win.
Look, I'm not saying PETA is constantly on my ass about how I use my monsters, okay? They're constantly giving me calls. Stop abusing your Necro Kitties. I'm like, no, they need to listen. It's not my fault. We smack them around until they listen.
I love it.
Oh God, no, but it's one of those things where it's so interesting, and especially coming. I think one thing too that people are finally starting to get a hang of is the movement phase, and Ollie will tell you this, coming from 9th age, the movement phase was king.
Yeah,
like the movement phase itself is where games are won and lost, and I see a lot of people who are I see a lot of people who are newer, like, especially if they come from 40K, like, the movement phase is not important. I'm like, sir, these are not Spiz millions. The movement phase is where you are going to lose this game if you're not careful.
Yeah, it's I think it's a common trope in most kind of war games, like the positioning, making it so that you have the opportunities, as you say, just looking at charge ranges, you said a 0.1 inch out, you can't touch me, but next turn, if you want to come forward, I'm going to hit you. And it's that your positioning and the control is key, especially in this type of game.
And the big thing is why this list in particular, I feel very bad for. Other dwarf lists are like, I can shoot off his monster. I'm like, no, you can't.
No.
What are you? I'm like, what are you on? Like, I have all this shooting. I'm like, you're move 3. I can legally be 10 inches away from you. I can't fail a charge, and you can't charge me.
Yeah.
Nothing about this is designed to be fair.
No.
Also, it's hilarious when you just put a giant rock in front of the dwarves, and you're like, here's a rock. You can't do anything about it. Or, even better, here's some LSD. Your Moraz Mirage, you can't even reform. You
Yeah,
can only reform 2 inches, and oh, it's so. Ever seen Movement 1 dwarves? It's hilarious.
it
It's
is.
so hilarious.
Yeah,
It's very mean. It's so mean.
but yeah,
It's very.
that's great. Well, Phil, is there anything else you want to say or mention? Say, looking to the future, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, not much. I mean, I'm still playing this list for the foreseeable future while I get my new army designed and painted.
I'll
I mean,
be
so
I'll be excited to see that. As you say, it's you're designing it, as you say, from Dragon Age. I'm a big fan of Dragon Age, especially the first one.
cool. No, but yeah, no. I mean, sorry, America, you're stuck with this abomination of a Todd. I'm sorry, you're stuck with this as you call it, abomination of a list for a little bit longer.
Well, it's proven it. So if it's not broken, don't fix it, kind of thing. The saying goes. So it just shows, as you say, that stick with it, play it, play it, play it. As you say, versus that the Scream list, you knew what to do. You didn't even speak them. You knew everything because you had played it before. You knew how to win against it, and it's just those little things.
I need a life. I need a life outside this game. But what is a life without plastic crack?
Exactly. Come on. That's what keeps us going. But no, thank you very much, Phil, for joining me today. And thank you guys for watching. I'm sure we'll see Phil continue destroying it with the Team Kings. And hopefully, depending on what happens with the WTC, you never know, I might be playing Phil and he might be able to absolutely annihilate me and show him that he is the imperishable and not me. Well, thank you, and Sarah.